I'm Australian Palestinian, and I'm here because I believe in our collective humanity.
So we're seeing the images, we're crying every day.
It's a type of grief I wouldn't wish on anyone, and it's the constant message from the world that we don't matter, that we are not important, that our lives don't mean anything, and it's that message every single day.
It's just a few days before Christmas here in Sydney, Australia, and thousands of people have taken to the streets to demand justice for Palestinians. This massive banner is being walked through the streets of Sydney right now, and it contains the names of some 40,000 people who are dead in Gaza. And at the same time this march is occurring, one of the last remaining functioning hospitals in North Gaza is being bombed by Israeli forces. The bombing is relentless. Katie and Eddie have been marching alongside the Palestine Action Group every single Sunday for the past 14 months.
It's our new reality. It's the new normal now.
I just can't fathom the fact that it continues to get worse, and you're seeing kids blown up, you're seeing hospitals bombed, you're seeing refugee camps attacked.
We see mainstream media and the governments basically justifying it and continue to support it, fund it.
And I feel like as the week progresses, my anxiety peaks because you're being gaslit by the world and the media, and no one's addressing the atrocities happening, real life atrocities, thousands of children being maimed, murdered. And so you come here and you finally feel like, oh wow, I'm not alone in my horror, I'm not alone in my grief. There are other people that are seeing the images and the videos that I'm seeing, and that it's real.
I'm not Palestinian, I'm Lebanese and Syrian, but it's so obvious that there are certain types of people who matter most.
It's not us.
It's not us. It's definitely not us. No, absolutely not. What can you do? Accept this and try to raise awareness as we've tried.
You're Palestinian yourself. How is your family doing right now?
My immediate family, I would say, is genuinely scared. I mean, and that's off the back of a lot of real life lived trauma. My grandma was like a survivor of the Nakba. She got kicked out of her home with 3 young children. One of them was my mom. And so they're genuinely scared. My parents are always like, don't be too loud, don't be too outspoken, don't go to the protests. Our whole family's kind of spread across the whole world. We've just been scattered. My family in the West Bank they're also scared. Cousins have stopped going to university because it's just too dangerous to get through all the checkpoints. It's not safe anymore. So, but I would say, although they're scared, our family's steadfast. We will be free. It's the right thing. And if we die trying to liberate ourselves, then that's what we're just going to have to do. So,
can you just tell me your name and your affiliation with this movement?
I'm Peter Slezak. I'm just one of the many activists that are involved with solidarity with the Palestinians. I'm Jewish, and that's an important part of my involvement, together with many other Jews. In Australia, they're trying to prevent and close down the rallies. It's this absurd idea that they're some kind of danger or a risk to Jews. It's just rubbish. I grew up with parents who were Holocaust survivors. My mother and grandmother survived Auschwitz, and I heard their stories growing up. My father was in the slave labor camps in the Ukraine. I often say it's a desecration of the memory of the real victims of anti-Semitism to be weaponizing anti-Semitism to shut down justified criticism of Israel, where the justified criticism is not based on anti-Semitism or Jew hatred. It's based on legitimate concerns about atrocities on an immense scale. You know, pictures of parents walking with plastic bags with the remains of their children, and entire residential areas reduced to rubble. It's quite unbelievable. This is just unprecedented. So the idea that people are not morally sensitive to this or are rejecting it and denying it is really very shocking, and that's what we're up against, this huge polarization.
What's your name and what brought you out here today?
My name is Izzy, and I'm out here to stand in solidarity with the Palestinian Liberation Movement in Sydney, but from the U.S. It's been a genocide for over 15 months, and we've seen humanity fail the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza. So being out here and continuously using our voices to keep saying that we are not forgetting, that a lot of us have a conscience, a lot of us recognize the importance of standing up and speaking out and won't stop. It's an important message to our politicians and our leaders, but also our community that seems to want to become apathetic to the status quo and be exhausted and burnt out, but we can't allow that to be the case.
How do you wrap your mind around the abject horror that we're seeing every single day play out on our phones in Gaza?
Yeah, I don't think everyone ever is able to wrap their mind around it or process it. I think what we do is we look at them as an example of, even when they're undergoing those horrible circumstances of a genocide, they continue to live their life, they continue to wake up and continue to fight, and the resilience that they show, is an example for all of us to continue our role and our responsibility in this. And I use it as a reminder of like, what have I done today to support the people of Palestine? How have I raised and amplified their voices and supported getting them liberation ultimately?